Thank you, Macarena. Good morning, everybody. Let me start sharing first my screen. Let's just begin now with the presentation. Okay. Well, welcome again. Another good week. Hopefully you've been good so far. And today we're gonna be presenting the cash receipt journal for your customers and some other bonuses that we have. The idea then is that we will be receiving payments from our customers in the wholesaling part, where our accounting processor and operations might be work together, right, to increase the collection. So then we're gonna apply into a journal the money we receive or payments we receive, and then we understand how then we look reports, how then we operate, how we look customers, and see all the information together so we can actually properly work with the actual journal. And then as well, we have other journals where we can actually in batch receive different and multiple payments. So let's just jump into the functionality. I have here Business Central, right? I'm opening here Business Central in a browser. Then you are going to be able to look like just like me. This role center is for an accountant where I can see, for instance, my payments, the document approvals, let's say that we enable purchase order workflows, financial and processed payments, and other tasks related for related to me as the accountant, as an example. A cash receipt is not necessarily done by AR only, right? Let's just check how this could work. But to begin, I need to check the customers. This is how then I'm gonna be able to see then who's going to then owe money to the company. And here I have now the customer list, right? Now, the idea is that I could as well create a customer from scratch if necessary. Let's just take a look at some of the examples that I have. In Adatum Corporation, I have, first of all, the customer picture, but most importantly, the information related to the operation. I can provide credit limit, 10,000 in this example. And then look at this, the total sales. And currently, the profit that I have had with this customer is going to be calculated automatically. So this is a good statistical starting point, because in the end, I want to understand as well what will be from here the balance. If I have so many sales in first place, I would expect as well to have some debt, right? Then the customer, every customer records on the statistics and ledger entries, or different reports that we have. For instance, if we want to now verify and start the collection process. First of all, the ledger entries. In the ledger entries, we have recorded all transactions. Look at this. We have payments, we have invoices, basically these two are credit memos. But if you take a look, some of them are currently in red, meaning that they are as well due. So we haven't yet received any payment for these due invoices. And as well, we have other important information that because we need to actually, we need to receive payments. For instance, here we have the sales, the original amounts that I have, the remaining amounts for some of my sales. And well, that's specifically the idea that you can check, okay, from the original sales amount, what will be the remaining amount that I would expect for the payments. And that will be happening for every document, right? Even why not to record a sales order as well, so you can see then the idea. But as well, we might be receiving debt from, or some of you might have POSs, stores online, okay? Online Shopify, we offer all those products. So just in case, and just for you to know, we can operate normally with those. And we are going to receive anyway. Business Central is the foundation for these operations, right? And we're going to receive debt for any given customer at any given moment for any given channel. That's what is the customer ledger entries. That's what they are showing currently. Now, I as well need to check, for instance, some statistics, well, just general information. Currently, the balance is zero debt. I mean, unbelievable for this amount of sales operation, well, it's very good to understand that part immediately. So just open the statistics, but as well, let's see how these sales were integrated, for instance. In this case, I can see the operation for sales cost, like a small P&L for this customer. And apparently all the sales were actually coming from last year. And consolidated or to date, well, we can see the total, okay, in the end. So that's the idea in the very moment when I open just Business Central. And very important, once I understand well the growth or if the sales statistics are confirming that everything is fine as far as I can see here, that's good. I'm going to review other customers, but important. We might manage as well a credit limit, okay, for our customers. And this might be as well regarding for the cash receipt journal we are about to see. Because the credit limit works in two ways. This could be a warning when we do a sales operation. This amount would travel to the sales order, POS, and possibly some websites. So you can offer the credit limit, and this could be a warning when we go or where your customer hasn't paid and go above the credit limit, or as well, very important, it could be even restrictive. So you don't continue selling anything else to this actual customer. So that's why it's important to understand the credit limit. It could be once again restrictive or just a simple warning. Okay, now regarding the customer as well, we have two important setups to do. Payment terms code, sorry, and the payment method code, okay? This will be by default how our aging process will be then measured because this customer needs to pay every month, okay? So in the current month, or well, from since the very moment we generate your sales operation, then this customer has one month in order to make the payment, and if he pays before 1 week, he can receive a discount, okay? And as well, the bank or the payment method, sorry, this is up to you. It is not mandatory always. In this case, I can see that we have bank, but it's not actually just like that, okay? So we have a lot of different payment methods that we can just enable and very important for our accountants. Some of your accounts might be just immediately settled if some of the payment methods are not just informational, but they actually have a linked GL account. Important. When we start selling stores, online, and wholesaling process, we require for any given payment method a GL account, yes or yes. If we don't see it, if Business Central don't have it and related to any operation, it's going to assume immediately that is going to be then released any sales operation to the AR process. So if I, for instance, use the payment on account or bank anyway, this will be, so to speak, informational because these also have a specific settled GL account. So will be immediately sent to the AR process. So you need to understand that part first. But if I just use cash, whenever I do a sale and use this payment method, then immediately the money will be coming immediately settled, representing a payment in the sales process, and that money will flow to this petty cash account, okay? So this is important to mention just to understand and don't assume that all our sales operation goes to go to AR. Similarly, in a POS, the store, you're going to be normally receiving a payment from the customer in the store, right? And but as well, that's because in a POS we offer your customer pay with cash, with credit card. Just imagine that you can just go and in a supermarket, just the normal operation will be immediately paid, okay? And well, so to speak as well, if you want, we have other option then for prepayments. A prepayment is just a percentage as well related, all of this to AR. If I just input here 10%, means that before sending any given item or ship any item to the customer, this customer needs to pay 10% of the sales operation before he is going to be able to receive. And for us in the operation, Business Central is not going to allow us to ship anything until we see the payment we are about to process. Very good. So, regarding your payments, for those of you who work in the USA, as well, just to as a parenthesis, you might work with tax jurisdictions and the area codes. Let me see. Oh, yes. Okay. Yes, I see somebody. Okay. But in the USA or here as well for your taxes, your payments can go first to the taxes and then to the base amount of the sales operation. You can decide how to do it, or vice versa, or just proportionally half and half. To if you receive a partial payment, well, half of the payment will go to the taxes, half of the payment will go to the actual base amount of the sales. Okay, but here the important thing, we have to review and we have the actual information here in Business Central to check all your historical information, the debt, the credit, the payment method, and the payment terms. Very important, all of them, for the AR procedures we are about to see today. Now let me see. Yeah, this will the balance 1-0, but why not to check? Look at the balance. The balance is, by the way, the actual debt for any given customer. So we have School of Fine Arts, one of my customers, larger customers with a lot of sales operations currently as balance, but not all of it, well, is due yet. All right. So from here, you could see and check immediately for the total sales operations that I currently have. I only want to see those sales operations that are currently due, which represents currently I could navigate, and these are actually just 5 invoices, and look how they are once again in red. Okay, so these are then my markers, and as well another way I could actually track some information. Let me show you Cortana. We call them Intelligent Cloud Insights. And the idea is that, well, Cortana will do more or less the same. I review it currently manually, but Cortana is going to give me insights out, uses algorithms to actually check for me as my assistant. Cortana is your assistant. We can connect it. It's a service that we have connected in Azure. And this is currently giving me, well, important information. For instance, 10 of my customers are late. So this is another way of seeing things more practical. So it gives me a summary. If I just click here, for instance, then I can immediately check all invoices, but not for one customer. So I have School of Fine Art, Really Cloud, Trade Research, other in my demo environment, correct? Other customers that are currently just late. And you can see here the posting date, and the customer number, so you can actually just go and take a look at more detail. But the idea is that actually for different areas you see the actual information, right? The other last aspect of starting or to show some functions that we do is just, for instance, the aging process. Okay, so we have the customer aging shipment, shipments that were already not delivered, because you need to understand that sometimes, specifically for the wholesaling sector, you need to understand that your collection process actually requires a fast warehousing process, yes or yes, right? Specifically there, but actually in any sector, that's quite obvious, right? So we can see those documents. Which shipments are just delayed, we can maybe call the warehouse. Well, for AP, purchase order aging, and here for us, outstanding sales order aging. Just as an example, I'm just going to open a report. You can check by the detail. Actually, you can see other currencies. Business Central is a multi-currency environment. Let me just meanwhile give you an insight where I have some other currencies in my environment. We can set them up. Your customers can use any of the currencies that you enable. For me, I have Canadian dollar, euro, and Mexican pesos, right? And well, the exchange rate, this is currently online. In my case, could be as well set up manually by your accountant. We just train them. right? And all, for instance, any given currency will be then available for your sales operation and payment and banking operations. Okay, just general information, but importantly, to understand, it's very, very important to understand now your aging procedures. Okay, normally what we do in aging is just verify in my company the entire dev coming from my different customers and divided by different periods. Then so we can then verify the aging that we are going to now as well have in the past, or as well in this example, we can go to relate to the future. For instance, we are currently in April in my example, and look at this. I'm going now to the future months to check when I'm going to start having some due payments that my customer need to complete. Okay, so it's not, I could do it in advance, okay, or in the past, the regular aging accounting report that is just going to give me the 30, 60, and 90 days in the past. What is the total amount per customer, right? And as well, remember, in Business Central, we can see these two reports, but as well, look at this, we can check even by document. This is the detailed information that sometimes requested by my customers. They don't always like to see just like the amounts here, right? But they actually need to sometimes understand even by item, and we can do so. We have in this example for Adatum Corporation, one of my customers. Let me explain you. We have orders. The order, this is the document number, and then, well, just basically the items that were sold here. This could be as well for those of you who have stores. This a ticket number if you offer credit or customer orders. Okay, a customer orders represent when you sell something in the store. For us, then your customer can order now and come in 1 week for the item, or maybe pick it up in the warehouse or collect it, basically. But meanwhile, we could see this information as well if you need it, or maybe your store manager. But I want to make you understand that we have the information with detail, okay, of the items, the document number, in this case, orders, and well, the regular aging, in this case, that could be in the past or in the future as well. This type of information needs to be reviewed, slice and dice, in order to understand how then we process the payments, okay, or which will be more mandatory. You need to call your customer, might have priority for a specific customer, and you have the information here, and well, just the normal receivables reports. Let me just show you, yeah, where I could check. Okay, H accounts payable and H accounts receivable. The standard reports, which we call balance sheet, income statement, and so forth. Okay, so H accounts receivable, I could actually verify this report as well in Excel if this is good to you. Business Central is completely connected with Excel out of the box. And with Office tools, actually, as an example, you might require Outlook to send emails and things like that. And while I'm open this report, well, the idea is that I can see basically all the reports, all the information, and the customer, the invoices that are currently open, right? Now, let me just show you then the integration with Excel so you can see it. So basically just a standard H accounts receivable report, but now I have downloaded. The idea is that you are going to see now a connector with Microsoft Dynamics, okay? And from here, any report could be downloaded. Remember, any currency if you want to report in other currencies. But well, this is just a standard. Similarly to the report I show you, but this could go now. This will be going to the past standard report with all the customers. Then I have the balance due, total balance due. And then, well, basic report up to 30 days, 31 to 60 days and over 60 days for the debt that you might have with any customer, right? But it's just another presentation, other type of information that will be important to see and see that you have it here in the system. Good. Now, the first thing I'm going to need to do once I understand that I'm going to be able I have detected which documents are correctly open is just try to then verify all the payments with the customers. Let's do the first type of operation, which is the cash receipt journal. Here I'm going to register all the money that I will be receiving with my customer. So to speak, a general journal, a cash receipt journal, excuse me, can be enabled for you in order to actually have a over-the-counter or AR a process accountant helping with this, or as well in the warehouse we can open this basic page. This is the basic type of payment we do manually. What they do normally is that they come into the cash receipt journal that they could find in the system. By the way, how do we find things? I use this magnifying lens and I just click on any information that I want. So cash, what are we looking for? By the word keyword cash, and then it's going to give me a lot of different options, okay, and so forth. So I could just continue searching, and well, Business Central changes for you as well. Inside the system, we as well enable documents, so with SharePoint or with other drive that you enable, so you could have your manuals, your company, or what else. You could enable it to have as well. I use OneDrive because I'm in the cloud working. So by looking at the keyword I have typed, I could look for specific information inside the system, my reports, and projected cash receipts like this, and documentation as well. Okay, now in my example, I as well have different sources of information. We call them app source because we can connect Business Central to other, to have more capabilities. Powerbox cash receipt register line, okay? Just as an example, well, this might be helpful to actually monitor and have another add-on to present a beautiful screen with cash register and monitor all your cash withdrawals as an example. Okay, so you can go into the app world because a lot of people is designing a lot of applications. This is really, really cool sometimes if you find something that is useful for you. Okay, now in the cash receipt journal, I just want to extract information for a customer. I just reviewed before that I have a big amount of sales with no payment for the customer School of Fine Art. What I do with this is that I want to check first, well, what is happening. Maybe I want to just verify those open documents and I might be receiving now a payment. For that, in order to receive a payment as well, we normally select, we need to select an offsetting account, okay? In this example, you could use a GL, but as well, normally I use my bank account because I will be receiving payments. Ask to your customers, where are you gonna be paying, right? An offered bank account is super. Then, or this could be as well, for instance, a cash that you receive, but later you're gonna send it to the bank, okay? So it's important here. For now, my offsetting account, when I receive any money from this customer will be, I don't know, my bank account savings account. Very good. So that's what the actual user needs to learn. And this is the basic process, so to speak, right? And then what we do here, in order to find the open entries only for that customer, is that we have in the process menu one single option that is called apply entries. What I want to do actually is just look at all the open documents and as well rearrange by date automatically. Then look at the invoice number. Now let's imagine that I'm an over-the-counter clerk, or I'm, so to speak, in the back office, you're in your offices, right? If you're, or even if you have a store, your customers might pay the POS, but regarding invoices or sales orders that we might need to now review, then this actual operator, now Noe, is going to select, then wants to receive a payment and wants to review, well, all the documents that still need to receive or have a remaining amount. Look at this. All of these documents haven't received any payment yet, okay? Now the idea is the customer approaches, give me the document number. What is your actual invoice, the invoice number that you have? Well, we have different type of reviews that we need to do. First of all, the document number, and you find the actual document, find the date, and ask for the amount as an example, all right? So why not as well? I would like to include another document. Maybe the customer asks me, I will as well pay the document 72 or document 82, any of those, okay? And the idea is that we use a function actually to consider if I'm going to receive then the payment for any of those, any of the open documents that I see here, just click on set applies to ID. With this, now Business Central is just going to help me now to generate a information for one of my documents that I'm going to now pay. And below, look at the amount to apply, because I will be now asking for the money. Please give me now this 1,223, and I'm going to apply that payment to the actual document number 3172. Simple as. And most importantly as well, you are going to see the balance here, because you can now concatenate in the same window multiple documents, right? That will be more or less the idea. And as well, you could ask to your customer if they're going to pay the total amount or no. So maybe I'm just going to now pay this first exercise just partially, right? So amount to apply will be only 1,000, not a total amount. And so forth. Okay, so only 1,000, click OK. That is the only money that this customer is now currently providing. And here, this payment will be applied to that actual invoice, right? Simple as, it's not complicated. But maybe you want to as well check if you don't have any errors. I'm going to click on preview posting. Let's see. Hey, it happens that from our configuration, the posting date is not within my range of allowed posting dates. Why this happened? The idea is that your accountants can control the actual, and by the way, in April in the future, this is to my license. Sorry, I forgot to mention this important aspect. But the idea is that you can control who can post information in your system by doing the actual configurations in the general ledger setup. This is one of our configurations we do regarding this error. But the idea is that you can control who can post at any given moment in any period. For instance, in my entire company, I could, just for demo purposes, post in February, right? I don't want it anymore. This was in the past. I need to update this setup to actually post now, so to speak, in April. Yes, I know. And then let me just, as an example, extend my allowing, or this is my permission to actually post from February to March, to April, all right? Or if I just want to select, we normally select only 1 month. So your employees in the company are going to now affect registers or transactions only in the desired month. The second is that some of you might be accountants or admins, right, in the actual environment. So please go to user setup, because from here, for instance, Mr. Noe can come to, can actually post not only in April. He might be an accountant and he need to do adjustments for previous periods, okay, as an example. This is May. So allowing posting from, then I'm going to be allowed to post even in the last year, but this is very specific only for this user. So you control, first of all, your company, and then you control your user to post transactions. So now that we have gotten rid of the error, what I wanted to show in the preview posting, this generates basically the actual validations that I show you before actually generating the actual register. What I'm going to be affecting now with this, I'm going slow because this was just insert the customer, insert the amount, select which invoice to apply. Now, the entries. We are going to see now the GL entry that I will be using for this actual transaction is very simple. Now, the idea is that I will be affecting my accounts receivable because the debt will be now decreased by 1,000, well, by the payment, basically. But as well, which account you are going to be affecting now, because behind the bank that I just showed you is a linked GL account related to the saving account USA. This is a GL account, but was not shown before in my journal. I just selected a bank, but every bank has a one-to-one relationship to your GLs, right? Now, it do not only generates an entry for the chart of accounts. That's just part of the part of the actual record of the that I'm doing, but as well have a specific customer card, a sub ledger, so to speak, where I actually need to record the entry. Okay, now when I open the customer card, I'm going to now be able to see the original amount that he paid. Okay, very good. Now, different entries, and I'm explaining this because of this, and the bank as well, very important. In the bank, we have a bank account behind this, okay? The bank account is because in the end, your accountants are going to reconcile the actual payment with the description that I'm using. Currently, this could be maybe, I don't know, if your customer in advance, either the customer or you are going to make this 1,000 as a deposit in the bank, then it would be good to have a description of maybe the payment ID number from your bank and add it here, because your accountants will be reconciling any entry to your bank, okay? And for those of you who are not accountants, just showing this because when you later try to find your invoices or what happened with any transaction payments in this example, right? You need to know that in Business Center, we can navigate back and forth from the source of the information to the destination. And from here, you can see which destination is in this example we are going to generate in the chart of accounts, in the customer card, and the bank account as well. Okay, so later, if I just go to the customer card, I'm going to be able to see the payment. The same if I open the bank account, I'm going to be able to see this payment and as well the GL entries. Just sometimes we are going to see the detailed customer ledger entries because this detailed information is nothing but the actual initial entry. I'm entering 1,000, but that will be applying this payment. This is the application process to a specific invoice. That is why this is not the actual entry, but it's a secondary process that is happening behind the scene. Is the application of the payment, right? Nothing else. Just want to explain you what's the actual function of the actual process, because the operation is just very simple. We just generate the actual register of this payment, nothing else. Do you want to just post it, or you want to as well post and print it? Maybe your customer is in front of you and you need to deliver after you review this information and you need to deliver a report, right? This might be then as well the information you were about to give to my customer. We can add, I don't know, your logo. What else? Well, the idea is that we have just a printed form where we are going to be able then just to deliver and then once again a payment journal. Why do I show all of this? Well, just going step by step to try to make it useful in the end. It's very easy actually to do, but if you don't understand the process or how Business Center helps you, well, try to find something by yourself is sometimes not that cool. But other options, approvals. If you want to send that, well, some of your customer requires a payment to be approved by somebody, right? Maybe your manager is expecting to see all the payments done by somebody. That's as well possible, right? Incoming document for us is when you have maybe an Excel or you have a scanner, you can actually just scan those items in those payments that you might have this as well, and immediately will be then scanned into this form. Yeah, the receipt template is quite basic, okay? In this in this report that I show you, exactly that was the report I was showing as well. It doesn't contain a logo yet of a beautiful layout. It's just presenting the information. Let me just go back and open once again the document. Okay, but we have actually just finished. It's just the first exercise, just maybe the more the one that is more detailed. Okay. Okay, for now, I was mentioning here's the printed form. Is not fancy, okay? It's just actually showing the register number, the source, well, basically the description and the amount, okay? To this report, actually, it might not be just completely functional. You might desire to better add your logo, get rid of some information, maybe add a signature line and so forth, right? We do this all the time for our customers that want to use this function to go and use this as an over-the-counter function. So you can deliver a specific receipt with specific information for the accountant. So to speak, this might be more related to the accountant, right? You can see actually the actual other information that is not even important for a customer. We call them dimensions. A dimension is additional financial information that will be companion of the entry that I do, because this customer is part of, well, a salesperson, for instance, Jo was processing this department where she works in sales. The customer group is large. Well, this customer is one of my large accounts, right? And these are just actually setups that will be then related to actual reports, okay? Basically, that's it. It's not actually that fancy. It's just very, 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 very simple for an accountant, so to speak. Okay, so hopefully we actually answer the questions. So you can please ask me at any given moment any question that you desire, because, well, we can with that a conversion to more functionality that we can review. Okay, now sorry, what I want to open now. See in this version. I want to generate now multiple payments, by the way. Second, please. Well, I'm actually open the connection to a web service to show you some functions. Coming. Meanwhile, any question while I actually. Okay. I have meanwhile another question when I'm just waiting for a service. There are two ways. I have a question because we want to, so to speak, see information for a customer, like the statement, and as well, why not to even help with the collection process, the ones we get that information done. Okay. And now, in order to do so, I'm going to now open the School of Fine Art customer card. Okay, once that I have opened the customer card, you can now once again go in the customer card. We have the statement. Okay, this statement is the information that we generate. So this might be helpful actually. So I'm going to generate the starting date for this report, right? For not only February, let me just go maybe a few months in the past. And then you need to generate now for, if I'm in April, generate the report. Now, the customer statement is going to actually show all the transactions, by the way, that are currently open. You can select as well to show the overdue entries, include all customer ledger entries if that's something that you want to see everything, not only the overdue. So it's up to you. It's configurable. If you have reverse entries, maybe with you remember credit memos, or include unapplied entries, meaning that you might sometimes receive payments that were not linked to an invoice, just open payments. Sometimes happens, okay? And if necessary, well, you could actually include them. So the idea is that include an agent bank. If you use this setup, then you are going to generate that exact customer statement report, but divided it by month. In this example, this could be as well if you use the word W, this will be week, or M as month. And as well, what do you want to see, the posting date or only the due date for those documents that we're about to open? So I have included some other options, but most importantly, we can generate a different type of outputs where you can maybe print in Word, PDF, or automatically send by email. I'm mentioning the email because I'm going to as well want to show you something because you want to sometimes send this report, but not one by one, right? So let's say that I have for the first exercise one customer in front of me. Okay, so I'm just gonna print it basically, and that will be reported and printed currently in PDF. Sorry. Okay, once again, this is just a demo. Very good. So I'm just going to generate the statement where I can see, well, the customer information. Okay, this layout is just blue. My logo is here. We should add yours, and then we have your company address or general information. So if you want to actually have contact with the customer. Now I'm printing it because I'm simulating that I have just the customer in front of me, but here are just the entries. It's important to mention the currency. And because I have enabled the aging band, you're going to see the posting, the document the document number, the description. In this case, you can see, well, this might be invoices, okay? Or all customer orders for those of you who work in retail, and well, just the aging band, okay? The aging band is here, the due date, original amount, remaining amount, and running total, okay? Basically, this is one layout that we just generate and just total the total in the actual total amount, right? But here the aging band is showed, and here we can just verify that total amounts actually belong to March. In this example, February and January. Okay, before apparently it's good, so maybe the customer has more or less been paying to the company, and well, you can be sure then that in one single aging band, well, what would be the idea that we want to then just focus and start asking to this customer, let's start paying maybe all those invoices from January, as an example, right? So this would be the customer statement. And as well, once that we know that we have, and we're going to have plenty of documents, right? The idea is that we have as well the process to generate reminders. The reminders are actually functions that I can just generate to send plenty of different emails. And in this example, you could generate a reminder for one customer. Okay, that could be done. The idea is that Business Central, if I click on suggest reminder lines, is going to present the overdue invoices that I saw in my reports, and it's going to automatically bring them here to actually now send the same information in an email, automated email. Let me just, but I don't want only for one single customer and do it manually. What Business Central does for your collection processes is that I could just open their reminders, click on new, sorry, even though we delayed it. Where's the function? Sorry, create reminders. Okay, I want to do this, and actually Business Central does it. I'm going to explain you how often you're going to send emails. But the idea is that we I can either do it manually like I'm doing for all the customers, swipe all the documents, just clarify the word for me and start sending reminders. So I'm going to now prepare one for let me see, my customers that have transactions. Oh, it's because I don't have actually other, let me see, suggest reminder lines. I could make a quick invoice. Okay, this would just actually show not yet. I don't have overdue invoices currently in this company, so to speak, in the levels that I have. But what the reminder does is that it sends an email with the actual statement, and not only the showing the invoices that I showed you before in the report, but as well the idea of the reminder, not oftenly used. Let me just show you reminder terms. I might have for some customers some charges. If they don't pay on time, let's start charging fees or interests. It's not widely used. Not many of my customers request for that, but it's just there, which is just enough. Okay, if the function is there, it's cool to have it at least. For domestic customers, I have generated one line, and for foreign customer, I have generated another line where if I check the levels, and this is what the level means. First of all, send an email. We have a grace period, okay, a grace period. So in the first month on through the date calculation, look at the documents and charge $7.7 as an actual just additional fixed, look at this, fixed fee of 7.7. Then after another month will be 15, and after another month in 3 months, then we're going to charge 23. Okay, and that will be included in the invoices, right? If you want to use this function as well to increase your collection management, but most of all, because what we don't want is is just to wait there to see when they gonna pay, and they send an email manually and so forth. No, we do it everything with the reminders will be automatically done, and you don't have to actually focus on any more of those manual processes. That's one of the processes that we do. We just send the emails automatically. And then this is how then we are going to be able to actually work and increase our collection procedures, right? Okay, any questions so far? Okay, just regarding how then we present information to our customers. Now, some of you might actually work not only with the cash receipt journal. Let's show you. But sometimes it's important to mention that, okay, I want to immediately see in one single screen all the open invoices for any given customer. Sometimes it's very slow to actually open a journal, select a customer, okay? That's when you have the customer telling you what to do, so to speak. Select the customer, select the invoice that they tell you, and immediately start paying. Even though, well, that's really functional, it's good to have, but sometimes we need to work faster. And the idea is that we can use now the registered customer payments window. Is easier to use. What it does, it currently has all the customer listed here, but most importantly, it has all the documents that actually require a payment by document number, invoice or order, sales order number, sales order, sorry, and the due date, okay? The due date that I see here. Now, the remaining amount then will be then shown immediately, and the amount received. So if it's easier for you, and you have different customers, but different or multiple payments that you need to process and very fast, this window is more suitable. The first option is just to come and start selecting just these checkboxes, okay? So to speak, any of these invoices will be immediately paid by just selecting them, okay? It's faster, it's just simple as. So you can just, so to speak, as well, filter. For instance, I have some of my invoices for School of Fine Art. So what we can do, verify from here as well the customer card, any given information, navigate. Normally I would check the statistics or account detail. Let's just verify as well from here what I have in the account detail. Great. Customer access, additional things. Okay. Other type of information that we present for the customer while I'm paying. Okay, remember I'm in this moment paying. It's just that I'm explaining some other reports that I have. But the customer account detail is going to now as well show me by document by document. Okay, what will be the actual information? Even 100.1 amounts are in 1%. Okay, and this means that in this very moment, well, this customer is actually paying. It's a KPI. Okay, we can measure now your customers if they are paying fine. Okay, 1% is nothing for me, but if they go up above a specific threshold, 20%, 30% of theft of the total balance amount, well, that's an issue. That's an issue. I need to start reviewing that. And here you can check by invoice number, due date, all the detail required now by actual well, customer account detail. That's the name of that report. Now, what I can do then is just start filtering. I have come back to the registered customer payments. A lot of customers, I could have maybe 500 lines here easily, at different invoices that I haven't paid, that I haven't received a payment, sorry. So what I would normally do is if a customer approaches, instead of the cash receipt journal, which is more related to accountants who are managing actual information with banks, who will be reconciling banks, right? But the customer registered payment, what we do is we just ask to one of our accountants, how could we then set up something, a report that can help me to automate more the process, because I'm going to now start making a lot of payments. Tell me the actual bank account that I'm going to use at the end of the day, because I'm in the cashier, maybe in the warehouse, and I want to collect all that money, and I want Business Central to actually use an actual account that will be, in this case, the checking account. Okay, so this will be my default account, so I don't have to work with those GL accounts, complicated bank accounts that for me, that I don't know anything about accounting, is very, very difficult. So from here as well, you could generate general information, but in this case, other information for other modules, but for me, I will be only recording payments. Okay, I will ask your accountants if we go and implement with you. Okay, let's do a form to generate faster payments, but good, I will just ask you which bank account will be preferred to receive payments, savings accounts or any operational accounts. So what then, after this simple set of what your cashier or sales processor is going to see, all the list of open entries. Okay, now in order to proceed with the actual payment operation, I would then, so to speak, filter by name of customer, description, the due date, why not, or only show me those that have an amount received. External document as well is an important field that sometimes is important to mention, because your customers have their own invoice sometimes. Okay, the description then field will be used to actually inform the user, right, that I'm about to basically start filtering documents. Okay, and you are going to find by description this information. Okay, so now in order to filter a School of Fine Art, for instance, I know that it's approaching, one of these guys will be coming, School of Fine. Let's see. It's not following my scripts. Sorry, my filter is not following my scripts. Okay. For instance, School of Fine Art is here, so to speak, and I could filter to the actual value just to immediately here show the information only for School of Fine Art. Okay. Now, see why. Sorry, my filters are not working. Let me see. Filter to this value. Well, at last it did it. Okay. Sorry, I'm working in a demo environment that is not the actual real production environment, but filtering is a standard operation that we do without issues. But here I have just only see, and I can see the payments, okay, only for School of Fine Art. Okay, I can see all these invoices open. So why not to start just inform now the customer that is in front of me, or I might be calling him, hey, I have all these open invoices. Which one do you want to pay? Okay, all of them. Okay, it's not a problem. Then let's just select them with this basic check mark, and then we can generate a post payment, or post as long payment just means that one single payment will be one single document. Okay, one single payment will be recorded against all these different invoices. Okay, but the idea is that we use these functions to make it faster. And as well, you could still edit the amount. For instance, yes, I want to pay this invoice 2170, but I will be paying maybe 5,000 for this one. And then this other one will be total. I will be paying the total amount for this invoice, right? And here, okay, I may wind up to select only for $500 and so forth. Okay, so the function is easier to do, and the external document number I was actually showing is because sometimes when you make a sales operation, right, you might immediately either a POS or a wholesaling process online, you sometimes attach to any given sales operation a document that is important for your customers as evidence, like a customer invoice number. In the POS, if you receive a check, I don't know, you want to actually input the check number, things like that. In the same manner, we use external document number. So you can find, even though this is blank, how then your customer identifies their own sales, okay? Even though this webinar is not to actually proceed with different sales scenarios, but we need to receive sometimes external information for useful for your customer. Okay, now the idea here is that here you're going to be able to proceed with all these features. Very simple. Pause the payments immediately for payments that could have been done easily. This is more like over the counter or similar to what POS does, right? Look at it, all open entries is very cool. I would suggest. Okay, I'm receiving in WhatsApp a question. Okay, understand. Coming back, let me filter. I'm receiving a question that if the open ledger entries can be shown in the retail POS. The answer is no. We need to actually just customize. This is just a parenthesis for what Business Central is. We have a POS function for LS Retail, and from where somebody wants to actually open these invoices and then later pay and control, so to speak, the AR process in the POS. Okay, that needs to be customized, but which I would suggest, okay, why not to present the open invoices, okay, filtered by customer, so you can see exactly this information, and your cashier, why not, as an idea, use this function, or similarly, to select any given open entry that will be paid, and then later you receive the money, okay? But remember that, like I shown here in this webinar, we are linking a payment to an open transaction or invoice. That's important part of this session today. Okay. Even I could show once again the cash receipt journal, so you can understand that easily. And in the POS, normally you are not doing that. Okay. School of Fine Art. Now that I have been paid that, the idea here is that the balance will be now immediately decreased, showing less documents basically, okay? Now, instead of multiple documents that I had in the past, now I have a payment, look at this, and some other invoices, okay? But the process here is then just done where you can see, okay, remember that I can told you that you can navigate once you input information in the system and understand where the information is flowing. This example to the customer, once the payment is generated, is going to the bank, to the customer, and to the chart of accounts. So if you want, you from here can actually, once again, for instance, why not to navigate to the original invoice, so to speak, or things like that. You can show the document, the source of the information in the end will be in the system. So why did I have to pay that amount in the end? Well, because an invoice was posted for, well, selling to School of Fine Art. And we have different items in the sales order. The sales order has basically the structure of having a header showing the general information for a customer. And in the line section, we have plenty of different items where you can see the quantity and most importantly, unit price and taxes, right? Because I will be at the end having an amount, and look at this, the currency, very important, okay? So the idea is that you are going to be able to navigate so you can understand from the customer card to the invoice, or in this case to the payment. Why not to check, I'll look at this here from here, you can even create a reminder. Okay, now apply entrance. Okay, what I want to show, first of all, as well, I can show the document for a payment, is not a problem if you want to see it again. Now, the applied entries. In this case, for a payment, what you will be showing or trying to look for what was the actual source of information, not only a payment or an invoice document, but a third entry that we generate. Okay, that payment G 4001 actually was applied against this document number or invoice 102170. Okay, and here very important, we later generate or we train you later to understand internal figures in the system. We have the original amount, and we need to understand when this is closed by amount. Okay, close is just, it means that the invoice cannot be just later paid once again. Okay, we avoid, of course, with this simple arrangement. Okay, double entries for any given item not desired, and as well show document post. So what happened here is that I'm traveled from some functions operational to show now. Excuse me. I had COVID like 3 months ago, 3 weeks ago, and I haven't recovered, you know. And then, well, the document number, once again, remember, so we can see the source of information. Now, let's just think of some of your accountants ask about specific information as well. The idea is that, let me see. Okay, you want to correct sometimes some payments, okay? They were not recorded fine, or the invoices were not okay. We are about to finish, by the way. If you have any further questions, please let me know. But what happened? What happened? I want to create something. I committed a lot of mistakes, even was the invoice or the items or the payment. I have an issue, okay? How we can actually work? Okay, it's very important to mention that once you pay an invoice, you are not going to be able to just come and correct and do different setups. For instance, an invoice that I can open, for instance, this requires shipments, right? In the operation, they're going to be selling, but in the end, you need to receive a payment. So to speak, if we want in this very moment to correct a payment that was not correctly applied or the amount was not correct against any invoice, you should then come into the actual application that you did. Let me see where's the, I lost the function. On apply interest, okay? So one is to make an application, and if you will see that the payment currently has an application against an invoice, just click on apply interest, okay? Not reverse transaction, it's unapply first. They unapply, in order to unapply, is because we have linked a payment and an invoice, simple as, okay? So you can see, first of all, the actual information, 11,000 against, well, the 11,000 coming from the payment, okay? And from here, the only thing that we do is you can as well preview before actually doing, to be super sure, because we can train even your cashiers, right? Not only accountants. For accountants, this is super duper easy, but I want to now explain the application. when we receive a payment in the end, just to finalize, this means that we have completed a full transaction that we call, well, coming from the supply chain in this example, but when we received and register the payment, all the transactions related to this might now just be closed. You cannot correct anything, a shipment, inventory, cost, prices, nothing, okay? So sometimes it's necessary to actually correct and to understand the flow. Why not to correct a previous invoice? Yeah, we paid an invoice, but the invoice was simply wrong. So please just come and unapply your entries. The system. We can as well filter or with permissions, we can then enable this function only for some of your maybe managers, right? And we are going to now unapply, okay? Unapply, then we have what happened here. The payment was completely unapplied and is currently showing a remaining amount, meaning that it hasn't yet been applied to any invoice. This is what we call an open payment. An open payment might be there once in a while, it's not a problem, but you can then select two things. If the scenario was because my invoice was not correct, so to speak, okay, it was this invoice. Okay, let me show you just as a bonus, because what I want to do is apply this payment against another invoice, first of all. So I'm going to use the function apply. Okay, from here, this is the same function that we find in your journals, okay? But you can come into your customer entries, and here, okay, I know that I committed a mistake, but these apply interest functions help me to once again come and select another invoice. And this was not 11, but should be applied against this 2000 invoice. This is the correct document. In the end, I committed a mistake. So it's not 11,000, the invoice 3170, but the invoice 3183. Very good. Is it good? If that is correct, you can preview posting and so forth, and or click now post application, meaning that you are doing it now from the customer ledger entries. It's not a cash receipt journal. This is more activities related to what the accountant might be doing behind scene, right? So I still have then money from this customer, 47,000. And then my invoice is not shown anymore here because the previous invoice of 2000, well, is actually just simply paid, okay? Now, because this is what we call the open customer ledger entries, I'm gonna show you in the end the historical information showing any document in the past. But for me, I want to now look at this invoice, and I know that this is not okay. Maybe you can use this function, correct, means that we're just going to, so to speak, reverse, cancel this invoice, never existed in the past, okay? I mean, cancel, never existed in the past, okay? It's like if it was not even created. Correct is because, yes, I don't want to reverse that and create another invoice manually, so to speak, but it just reverse it, create an automatic invoice for you. So you are going to see exactly the same information, a copy of this document, basically, but it's going to be editable. So if you want to make corrections, so to speak, this function is really useful. So we don't work oftenly manually in Business Central, and this is quite not a standard operation, okay? And create corrective credit memo. Create it similarly to correct, okay? But in this example, what I'm going to do is just create a corrective credit memo. Maybe I forgot to add look at this. This is a sales credit memo, okay? It's the opposite. I'm correcting this actual invoice, and this is linked. This credit memo is linked to the previous invoice. And this is yes as well regarding to payments. Why? Because a credit memo might be as well settling or will be applied against one invoice. Simple as. So if I just do the sales credit memo, I won't receive any payments further for this actual invoice. So here, once again, the sales credit memo is linked to one invoice, okay? So this is basically that. But here, well, just optionally, maybe I have forgotten. No, but this is not correct. this customer doesn't want this item, maybe you could actually, for now, I'm saying that all of these items will be returned to your warehouse. This is what the sales credit memo, so to speak, says, all right? Behind the scene, we are processing what we call a return, okay? Just for we are learning. The accountants don't understand this part, but sometimes the operation, they want to see. So if you're administrators, it's good to see now the entire workflow. Okay, sales credit memo then will be applied against an invoice because I will be now receiving all these items once again. So, but in the end, I'm showing this more complex operation, not only canceling, which is just reversing or correcting. But here you might decide to maybe, okay, I know that you want to return these items, okay? I know it and I understand that part, but why? Why are you doing it, okay? First of all, this might be just incorrect or quality, but the idea is that I don't want to now just go and create another sales order from scratch, okay? So we have different options. Even from here, you could input another item. Let me show you how do we do so. If you want to use it, okay? I'm just going to include any given random item that I have that is new, but from here, from the sales return, I might include now a negative number, okay? The negative number is basically gonna help me now that I have these that I have my customer in front of me making a clarification. Well, just because we are not going to pay that invoice anymore, so I'm going to make a sales credit memo that that I have generated, but this negative line is the item that the customer really wanted in first place, or the items you can continue to add more items in the same document. Okay, that's, so to speak, helping a little, right? And we just use the function get posted document lines to reverse as well. It's important. From here as well, you could add more items for this customer if we have previous sales operation, and as well from here we can select other items to reverse at the same time. So is that giving me like more functions, right, to make my corrections easily, so to speak. What else? Let's see if I function move negative lines. Okay, these functions might be good. Okay, the negative line is here. Okay, but what I want is just create a new sales order from scratch from here using just this function. And why do we want to do an order or an invoice? Okay, let's just generate a new sales order from here because I'm going to now ordering what this customer actually wanted, not these items that were incorrect. And well, just a sales order was created. It's just there. This is the new customer order related to the previous document. So you always have evidence, and we are now going to sell other items. This is the real items that this customer wanted. And from here, the sales credit memo, I'm going to now post it to that so to speak, a balance to zero or reverse or cancel the previous invoice, so to speak. This is what happened when you do a credit memo. All right. So for everybody, it's just basically, let me just open the credit memo. The credit memo as well in the end generated an entry for your inventory and an entry for the actual invoice that is going to now be mentioning, okay, you have settled one invoice against a credit memo. The original invoice doesn't have got to be any more paid. Good. And you should now receive in the warehouse these actual items, look at the conditions, and if you want to accept it, and all of that is part of the process that, well, is like a parallel process that as well, in order to do a credit memo, we need to complete. But for our purpose, if I once come to my customer, open customer ledger entries for School of Fine Art, I'm not going to see anymore that invoice. Only the payment with still a remaining amount and just one last invoice that hasn't yet been paid. So in this very moment, I could as well say, could I just complete with one single payment, multiple invoices, or link to multiple, apply to multiple invoices? It's just that the answer is just yes. So with this payment, I know that I have 40,000 yet. And from here, well, once again, just so we can learn and learn and learn, I'm going to apply my 40,000 remaining amount that this customer provide, okay? And link it and then apply to an invoice, and I won't have I'm gonna post my application, so this invoice will be paid, and voila. Okay, now I don't have open entries, but I still have this payment with the remaining amount of 35,707. What happened? Well, in the real world, I have shown different scenarios, is that you normally are going to receive a one-to-one payment to an invoice relationship. It's just that in the as well, you might have sometimes other corrections, which I'm showing. You might need to apply, or sometimes correct a payment that will be, okay, partially receive a payment that partially will be applied to one invoice, and 50 to one invoice, 50 to other, and so forth. Okay, sometimes you really need to be really specific. Your accountant need to open a cash receipt journal. Sometimes you really want to work fast. Okay, we have a window with just a check mark. We can just select what we are going to pay. And in the end, you have learned your customer ledger entries, how they actually look. Let me just come back to the customer card. Okay, and here then we are just going to show the total sales. Well, the credit limit is just there, and well, this is the way we train you actually to use the same functions. They are not difficult, but in the end, with some trainings, the idea now that the overall idea is that you know what the system can do, and we just on practice actually just come into this and do anything, corrections, open reports, and so forth. Okay, so this is it, the webinar for today. Thank you for your time. My name is Noe. Once again, I on a weekly basis do different webinars. I'm actually working on the basic part, right, of Business Central, which is the finance, payments, and all of that. For the following week, I'm going to be dedicating time to AP, by the way.